The blistering Arizona sun blazed down on Tucson's dusty streets as Liam polished the bar for what felt like the 1000th time. The same old country tune crackled through ancient speakers, harmonizing with the worn wood and faded neon signs of the dusty Oasis lounge. He had memorized every crack in the bar top, every regular's usual order, and every monotonous moment of this endless routine. "Hey, Liam, another round," a gruff voice called from the end of the bar. Liam nodded, grabbing a pitcher. "Coming right up, Jack." As he filled the glasses, his gaze wandered to the small TV in the corner. The news anchor droned on about a new space telescope. For a moment, Liam allowed himself to dream of what it might be like among the stars, anywhere but here on Earth. Jack's voice snapped him back to reality. "You gonna serve those beers, or just stare at them all night?" Liam forced a smile as he delivered the drinks. "Sorry, got lost in thought." "Careful with that," Jack chuckled. "Might hurt yourself." The night dragged on in a blur of poured drinks and lackluster small talk. As he locked up, Liam's gaze drifted to the star-studded sky. He sighed and climbed into his beat-up truck for the long drive home. Miles of empty desert stretched before him, illuminated only by his headlights and the moon above. The monotony was interrupted by a flash of blue in his peripheral vision. Liam slammed on the brakes, skidding to a stop. There, stumbling along the roadside, was the most enchanting woman he had ever seen. Her skin was a deep, mesmerizing azure, complemented by flowing silver hair. She wore an iridescent bodysuit that shimmered in the moonlight. Liam blinked hard, convinced he was hallucinating, but when he opened his eyes, she was still there, now staring at him with piercing, glowing eyes. He rolled down the window. Ma'am, are you okay?" The woman approached cautiously. "You are from this world, yes? I require assistance." Her voice had a musical quality with an accent Liam couldn't place. His mind reeled as he tried to process what he was seeing. "I'm from around here, yeah," he managed. "Do you need a ride or something?" She nodded emphatically. "Yes, transport would be most beneficial. I must reach a secure location with haste." Liam hesitated. Every instinct told him this was insane, but he couldn't just leave her out here. He unlocked the passenger door. "Hop in." As she settled into the seat, Liam caught a whiff of an otherworldly scent, like ozone and exotic flowers. He gripped the steering wheel, trying to focus on the road. "I'm Liam, and you are?" "I am called Lyra," she replied. "I thank you for your assistance." "Liam of Earth," he added with a nervous chuckle. "That's a new one." "So, Lyra, not to be rude, but what's with the—" He gestured vaguely at her blue skin. Lyra tilted her head. "Ah, you refer to my dermal pigmentation. I forget it differs from your species. I am not of your world. I come from a planet called Celestia." Liam nearly swerved off the road. "I'm sorry, did you say planet? As in outer space?" "Precisely," Lyra confirmed. "I have traveled a great distance to escape a grave threat. I must find sanctuary here." Liam's knuckles were white on the steering wheel. "Okay, so you're an alien, a blue alien, who needs to hide out on Earth. This is fine. Totally normal Thursday night." Lyra's brow furrowed. "You seem distressed. Is interplanetary contact not common here?" Liam laughed. "Not exactly. We're still debating if aliens exist at all." "How curious," Lyra mused. "Your civilization is more isolated than I realized." They drove in silence for a moment. Liam's mind raced, and finally, he asked, "So what's this grave threat you're running from?" Lyra's expression darkened. "A tyrant named Zorak from the planet Meloris. I was to be forced into a political marriage with him to seal an unjust treaty. I fled rather than submit to such a fate." Liam whistled low. "Wow, that's heavy. So what's your plan now?" Lyra hesitated. "I had not thought beyond escape. I require a place of concealment and assistance in adapting to your world." They were nearing Tucson now, the city lights appearing on the horizon. Liam drummed his fingers on the steering wheel, weighing his options. This was crazy beyond belief, but something in Lyra's eyes, a mix of determination and vulnerability, tugged at him. "Look," he said slowly, "I've got a spare room. It's not much, but you're welcome to crash there while you figure things out." Lyra's face lit up. "Truly? You would offer such kindness to a stranger? Liam shrugged, trying to play it cool. Well, can't exactly leave a space princess on the street, can I? I am in your debt, Liam of Earth, Lyra said solemnly, then her eyes widened. But wait, will this not draw suspicion? An unmarried male and female cohabitating? It's the 21st century, Liam said with a grin. People don't care that much anymore. Lyra nodded thoughtfully. I see. Still, to better avoid detection, perhaps we should present ourselves as a mated pair? Liam nearly choked. You mean like married? Is that not the Earth term? Lyra asked. Yes, we could claim to be newlyweds. It would explain my unfamiliarity with local customs. Liam's mind reeled at the absurdity of it all. Here he was, concocting a fake marriage with an honest-to-God alien princess. It was like something out of a bad sci-fi novel. Yet, a part of him thrilled at the idea. After years of monotony, his life had suddenly become the adventure he'd always dreamed of. You know what? He grinned. Why the hell not? Let's do it. As they entered the city limits, Liam glanced at Lyra. We should probably get you some clothes that blend in a bit more. Maybe a hat or something to cover your hair. Lyra nodded. Yes, camouflage would be wise. Though I admit, I find Earth fashions rather perplexing. Why do you insist on covering so much of your bodies? Liam chuckled. Trust me, with some of the people around here, you should be glad for that custom. They stopped at an all-night convenience store. Liam grabbed a hoodie, sweatpants, and a baseball cap, tossing them to Lyra. Here, try these on in the bathroom. I'll grab some other supplies. When Lyra emerged, Liam had to stifle a laugh. The clothes were comically oversized on her slender frame, and she'd put the hat on backwards. But at least the blue skin was mostly covered. How do I appear? Lyra asked, attempting a casual pose. Do I blend seamlessly with your populace? Liam grinned. You look like a college kid who raided their dad's closet. It's perfect. At the checkout, the cashier barely glanced up from his phone. Liam breathed a sigh of relief until Lyra spoke. Greetings, fellow Earth dweller. We require these goods for completely normal, non-suspicious purposes. The cashier blinked slowly, looking between them. Liam jumped in. Don't mind her. She's, doing a theater thing. Method acting, you know? Whatever, man, the cashier mumbled, ringing them up. Back in the truck, Liam turned to Lyra. Okay, first lesson in blending in. Less is more. Just act natural. Lyra nodded seriously. I shall endeavor to be more chill. Liam couldn't help but laugh. Well, it's a start. As they pulled up to his small house on the outskirts of town, reality began to sink in. He was harboring an alien fugitive. If anyone found out, Hey, Lyra, he said softly, you know this is pretty risky for me too, right? If the wrong people discover you're here. Lyra placed a hand on his arm, sending a jolt through him. I understand the danger I place you in. I swear by the moons of Celestia, I will do all in my power to protect you as you have protected me. Their eyes met, and for a moment, Liam forgot how to breathe. There was something in Lyra's gaze, ancient wisdom mixed with childlike wonder, that captivated him completely. He cleared his throat. Right, well, let's get you inside before the neighbors start gossiping about the weirdo in a hoodie on my porch. As they entered the house, Lyra's eyes darted everywhere, taking in every detail. Fascinating. Your dwelling is so quaint. Liam raised an eyebrow. Quaint? Oh, I meant no offense, Lyra backpedaled. It's simply quite different from the crystal spires of Celestia, but I find it most charming. Liam chuckled. Well, it's no crystal spire, but it's home. Come on, I'll show you to the spare room. As he gave her a quick tour, Lyra peppered him with questions about every mundane object. The microwave was a primitive matter reconfiguration device. The TV was a rudimentary data projection system. By the time they reached the bedroom, Liam's head was spinning. And this, he said, gesturing to the bed, is where you sleep. You do sleep, right? Lyra nodded. Yes, though our sleep cycles differ on Celestia. We require only 2 hours of rest per solar rotation. Must be nice, Liam yawned. Well, I need a full 8 hours, so I'm going to crash. We can figure out our next move in the morning. As he turned to leave, Lyra caught his hand. Liam, thank you truly. I know not what would have become of me without your aid. Liam felt his face flush. Hey, what are fake husbands for, right? Lyra's musical laugh followed him as he retreated to his room. Lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, Liam tried to process the insanity of the past few hours. His life had changed irrevocably, and he had no idea what tomorrow would bring. But as he drifted off to sleep, one thought kept circling in his mind. Whatever happens, it's going to be one hell of an adventure. The Arizona sun had barely crept over the horizon when Liam's alarm blared. He groaned, fumbling to silence it. For a blissful moment, he thought the events of last night had been a bizarre dream. Then he heard clattering from the kitchen. Stumbling out of bed, he found Lyra examining his toaster with intense fascination. She had ditched the oversized clothes for one of his old t-shirts, which hung like a dress on her slender frame. Her blue skin seemed to glow in the morning light. Lyra, Liam rubbed his eyes. What are you doing? She whirled around, eyes bright. Liam, I've been exploring your culinary devices. This one seems designed to carbonize bread slices. Quite ingenious. Liam couldn't help but chuckle. It's just a toaster. Here, let me show you how it works. As he demonstrated, Lyra peppered him with questions about Earth breakfast customs. Her enthusiasm was infectious, and Liam found himself grinning as he scrambled eggs and brewed coffee. So, he said between bites, what's the plan? I've got work tonight, but we should probably get you some proper clothes first. Lyra nodded. Camouflage is essential. I must also find a way to contact my allies on Celestia. The fate of our worlds may depend on it. Liam nearly choked on his coffee. Right. No pressure or anything. They spent the morning at a thrift store, with Liam trying to steer Lyra towards inconspicuous outfits. She gravitated towards the most colorful and outlandish items, delighting in each new discovery. Ooh, Liam, what about this? She called from the dressing room, emerging in a neon green jumpsuit and cowboy hat. Liam stifled a laugh. Liam tried to stifle his laughter as Lyra twirled in front of him, her neon green jumpsuit and cowboy hat making her look like she'd stepped straight out of a costume party. The outfit clashed hilariously with her blue skin, but at least it was eye-catching. Seriously, Lyra? Liam chuckled. You look like a walking disco ball. We need to dial it down a notch. Lyra pouted slightly but nodded, her silver hair shimmering with each movement. I suppose subtlety is preferable. This is quite a fascinating experience. They left the thrift store with Lyra reluctantly trading her flashy attire for a more subdued outfit, a pair of faded jeans and a simple t-shirt. Liam had managed to persuade her to ditch the cowboy hat for a more practical baseball cap. As they drove back to his house, Lyra admired her reflection in the side mirror, seemingly satisfied with her new look. Much better, Liam said with a grin. You blend in a lot more now. Lyra beamed, her eyes glowing with a mix of excitement and curiosity. Thank you for your assistance in this matter. I'm eager to adapt to your world. They arrived at Liam's modest house on the outskirts of Tucson. As they walked inside, Lyra looked around with keen interest, her eyes taking in every detail. She was like a child in a candy store, fascinated by the ordinary objects that made up Liam's everyday life. Is this your primary living space? Lyra asked, her gaze darting from the cozy living room to the simple kitchen. Yep, Liam replied, setting down the grocery bags. It's not much, but it's home. I'll show you to the spare room. Lyra followed him, her eyes wide with wonder. It's quite different from the habitats on Celestia. More personal, perhaps. Liam chuckled as he opened the door to the spare room. I guess you could say that. It's basic, but it's got everything you need. Lyra stepped inside, examining the room's modest furnishings with interest. This will do nicely. Thank you, Liam. It is kind of you to offer such hospitality. No problem, Liam said. You've had a rough day. Try to get some rest. We'll need to figure out our next steps soon. Lyra nodded, her eyes reflecting gratitude and determination. Indeed. I must find a way to contact my allies and arrange for assistance. As she settled into the spare room, Liam headed to his own bedroom to grab a few hours of much-needed sleep. His mind was racing with thoughts of Lyra's predicament and the strange twist his life had taken. He had always yearned for adventure, but this was more than he had bargained for. The next morning, Liam was awoken by the aroma of something cooking. Groggily, he stumbled out of bed and followed the scent to the kitchen, where he found Lyra attempting to make breakfast. She was struggling with a frying pan and a box of cereal. "Good morning," Liam greeted, trying to suppress a grin at the sight of Lyra's puzzled expression as she tried to figure out how to use the pan. "Need any help?" Lyra looked up, her blue skin glowing in the morning light. "Oh, good morning, Liam. I was attempting to prepare a traditional Earth breakfast, but I seem to have encountered some difficulties." Liam stepped over and took the pan from her. "Here, let me show you. Breakfast is a bit more straightforward than interstellar travel." As he demonstrated how to cook eggs and toast, Lyra watched intently, absorbing every detail. Her enthusiasm was infectious, and Liam found himself enjoying the lesson more than he expected. "So," Lyra said as they sat down to eat, "what's our plan for today?" "We need to find a way for me to contact my allies on Celestia." Liam nodded, taking a sip of his coffee. "First things first. We'll need to get you some proper clothes and supplies. We can't have you sticking out like a sore thumb." Lyra nodded in agreement. "Yes, camouflage is essential. But I also need to establish communication with my allies. I have an encrypted device that I brought with me, but I'll need a secure location to use it." "All right," Liam said, finishing his breakfast. "Let's get you set up with some more practical clothes first. We'll hit the mall and see what we can find." They spent the morning shopping for clothes that would help Lyra blend in even further. This time, Lyra chose a pair of dark jeans, a simple blouse, and a jacket. Liam also picked up a few essentials, like a phone and a laptop, to help her stay in touch with her allies. With their shopping complete, they returned to Liam's house. Lyra immediately set up her encrypted communication device in a corner of the living room, working with focused intensity. Liam watched from the kitchen, trying to stay out of the way. After what seemed like an eternity, Lyra finally let out a sigh of relief. "I have established a secure connection. My allies should receive my message shortly." "Good," Liam said, trying to hide his anxiety. "What's the next step?" Lyra looked at him, her eyes reflecting a mix of hope and uncertainty. "Now, we wait for a response. In the meantime, I should familiarize myself with Earth's customs and continue to blend in." Liam nodded. "Sounds like a plan. I've got work tonight, but I'll be around during the day. We can brainstorm ideas for how to keep a low profile." Lyra's expression brightened. "I appreciate your support, Liam. This world is so fascinating, and I am grateful for your assistance." As Liam headed out to work, he couldn't help but think about how drastically his life had changed. From a mundane routine to harboring an alien fugitive, he was now living in a sci-fi adventure he had only dreamed of. Whatever lay ahead, he knew it would be anything but ordinary. The evening passed in a blur of activity at the bar. Liam's thoughts kept drifting back to Lyra and the strange new world he had inadvertently become a part of. As he finished his shift and headed back home, he felt a mixture of excitement and trepidation. When he arrived, Lyra was waiting for him with a hopeful expression. "I have received a response from my allies. They are aware of our situation and are preparing to assist." "Great news," Liam said, feeling a wave of relief. "What's the plan?" Lyra's eyes sparkled with determination. "They will arrange for a secure location where I can remain hidden. In the meantime, we must continue to act as if we are a married couple to avoid drawing unwanted attention." Liam chuckled, trying to lighten the mood. "Well, I guess that means we've got a lot of pretending to do." Lyra smiled, her eyes reflecting gratitude and a hint of mischief. "Indeed. But with your help, I am confident we can navigate this situation successfully." As they prepared for another day of blending in and awaiting further instructions, Liam couldn't help but feel a sense of exhilaration. His life had taken an extraordinary turn, and he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, side by side with an alien princess. The next morning dawned with a clear blue sky over Tucson, and Liam woke up feeling more invigorated than he had in months. The previous day's events felt like a surreal dream, but the reality of Lyra's situation, and their continued charade as a married couple, remained firmly in place. As he prepared breakfast, He couldn't help but think about the absurdity of it all. Here he was, making eggs and bacon for an alien princess who was, for all intents and purposes, his fake wife. The thought made him chuckle. Lyra emerged from the spare room, now dressed in a pair of casual jeans and a comfortable blouse. Her blue skin, while still quite noticeable, was toned down with the more subdued outfit. "Good morning, Liam," Lyra said with a bright smile. "How does the day find you?" "Morning, Lyra," Liam replied, setting a plate of food in front of her. "I'm doing well. How about you? How's the communication device working out?" "It's functioning perfectly," Lyra said as she examined her plate. "I've received confirmation from my allies. They are working on arranging a secure location for me. However, it will take a few days." "Good to hear," Liam said, taking a seat across from her. "So, what's the plan in the meantime? We need to keep up appearances." Lyra nodded, her eyes thoughtful. "Indeed. We must maintain the facade of being a married couple. We should engage in activities typical of a married couple to make our pretense more convincing." Liam raised an eyebrow. "Like what, exactly?" Lyra's expression brightened with excitement. "Well, we could visit some local attractions, go grocery shopping together, perhaps even attend a community event. These activities will help us blend in and avoid suspicion." Liam thought for a moment. "All right, sounds like a plan. We'll start with something simple. How about we visit a local farmer's market this morning?" Lyra's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. "That sounds delightful. I've read about such markets but never experienced one firsthand." After breakfast, they set out for the farmer's market. The bustling outdoor market was filled with vendors selling fresh produce, homemade goods, and local crafts. As they walked through the aisles, Lyra marveled at the array of colorful fruits and vegetables. "This is wonderful," Lyra exclaimed, reaching out to examine a basket of bright red tomatoes. "The variety of produce is astounding." Liam smiled. "Yeah, it's one of the perks of living here. You can find just about anything." They strolled through the market, occasionally stopping to chat with vendors and sample different foods. Liam made an effort to keep up the pretense of being a couple, occasionally slipping his arm around Lyra's shoulders or holding her hand, much to Lyra's growing amusement. At one booth, a vendor offered samples of homemade jam. "Would you two like to try some?" the vendor asked with a friendly smile. "Sure," Liam replied. "We'd love to." As they tasted the jam, Lyra leaned in close, her eyes twinkling with delight. "This is delicious. We should definitely buy a jar." Liam nodded in agreement. "Absolutely. Let's get a few." After making their purchases, they continued exploring the market. Lyra seemed to be thoroughly enjoying herself, and Liam couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction at seeing her so happy. As they were leaving, Lyra turned to him with a thoughtful expression. "This was a delightful experience, Liam. Thank you for including me." "Anytime," Liam said with a grin. "Glad you enjoyed it." They spent the rest of the afternoon running errands and visiting local spots, all the while maintaining their act as a married couple. The more they engaged in these activities, the more natural it felt. By the time they returned home, they were both exhausted but satisfied with their efforts. That evening, as they relaxed on the couch, Lyra looked at Liam with a serious expression. "We've done well today, but we need to be cautious. I've been monitoring the news, and there are reports of increased activity from interstellar monitoring agencies. We must remain vigilant." Liam's eyebrows furrowed. "Increased activity? Do you think they're onto you?" "It's possible," Lyra said, her tone grave. "I've also detected some interference in our communications. It could be a sign that someone is trying to trace our signal." Liam's heart raced. "That doesn't sound good. What can we do?" "For now," Lyra said, "we must continue our pretense and avoid drawing attention. I will work on enhancing the security of our communications and try to identify the source of the interference." Liam nodded, feeling a surge of determination. "All right, we'll stick to the plan and keep our heads down. If there's anything I can do to help, just let me know." Lyra's eyes softened with gratitude. "Thank you, Liam. Your support means more than you know." As the evening wore on, Liam found himself reflecting on the strange twist his life had taken. From an ordinary routine to pretending to be married to an alien princess, every day brought new challenges and surprises. But despite the risks and uncertainties, he couldn't deny the thrill of the adventure. As he headed to bed, Liam felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Whatever lay ahead, he was determined to face it with courage and resolve. With Lyra by his side, he knew that even the most extraordinary challenges could be overcome. Little did he know that the days ahead would bring even more twists and turns, testing their resolve and forging a bond that neither of them could have anticipated.